Aliza, you're a chef, author, and self-advocate. You good?
Great. Thriving.
Hi, Aliza.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to get into it with you.
Same.
You're just always someone who's ready to dive deep. You're just sitting at that kitchen table, all the kids running around. You're here for it.
I'm here for all of it.
You're here for all of it. What inspires me the most about you is your advocacy and how you know how to stand up for yourself and ask for what you want.
It's very important. I've had a long life of advocating for myself.
How did it start?
I had learning issues when I was a kid. I didn't process reading properly. And that's not something that's a normal thing. And I got help and I realized that asking for help was okay and that not everyone is the same or normal or learns the same. And as an adult, I realized I was just an audiovisual learner opposed to, I don't remember what the other kinds are, but that's how I learn. I can listen to something and tell you everything about it or watch something. But if I read it, I didn't process it like everyone else did. I could read a book and be like, I have no clue what that was about, but I read the entire thing and that was that. And from a very young age, I learned that I needed to speak up when I didn't understand something. And it just sort of started my life of how I can make things work for me. And that's, I think, the whole part of being a human is that we're all very different, but we need to make situations and relationships and everything work for what's best for you.
So it was through your learning differences.
Yes,
you
very
really
much
knew that, oh, wait, there is a problem or a so-called problem.
Yeah.
And there's a solution. And through asking for help, you can
find a way to make things work for you.
When have you felt like you needed to advocate for yourself in recent years?
In recent years, there's so many.
There's not a day that goes by when I don't advocate for myself.
It's true, or even for others, but in college was a big turning point for me.
What happened?
I went to UC Berkeley, which I like to bring up in any conversation I have because I loved my college experience so deeply. And
you're lucky.
Truly, I loved it. But when I was younger, I went for a lot of learning testing as kids who don't learn the same way as everyone else. And I said to I don't know if it was a therapist or a specialist, I guess it was, that I really wanted to be an architect when I grew up. I was obsessed with buildings my entire life. I would point to buildings when I was in the car with my parents and be like, that one's my favorite. It was the round hotel off of Sunset going to UCLA or Brentwood.
Right, it's now Hotel Angelino.
Great. I have no clue what it is. My dad was a professor at UCLA, so that was our exit, and my grandparents lived right there. And she's like, the one thing you wouldn't be good at is to be an architect. And I was like,
who said that?
This learning specialist. Because it's a lot of spatial relationships and what I learned to be a lot of art and physics, which are two things I loved. And I'm very into science. My dad is an engineer. My sister and brother-in-law are scientists. I come from a very nerdy background, and my mom was in the fashion space. So I have genetics that are very creative and I just have a lot going on up here. And I went to college and I was I've always wanted to be an architect, but I was told that's something I can't do. And I enrolled my second semester in an intro to architecture class. And I was oh, I'm talking a lot in this class. I'm usually very shy in my classes. Obviously, I'm not shy about anything anymore. I love to speak up, but I found my place. And a few years, I guess probably 2.5 years into my architecture program, I'd done a bunch of studios, which are these classes where I guess it was a unit system most classes in a major are like 4 hours a week. And in the architecture school, it was very time consuming. So you'd have a lecture and then you'd have 9 hours of studio class where you're like designing and building and doing essentially like arts and crafts with physics. And I loved it. And I am a very tactile person. I love to build like Legos with kids is where I really thrive as an adult. I just love it. But we started doing computer automated design. And I am not into technology, which although I have a thriving Instagram account and I figure it out, like that's not where my passion is and not something I'm interested in and something where my brain just doesn't know how to put design into computer. And also I like really tried at it and I was like, this is not going to work for me. I'm not going to graduate if I have to do all of this computer stuff. And I like went to the office one day and I was like, I need some help. Like this is not working for me. I'm really interested in industrial engineering. I've taken these classes. I love them. I thrive in them. They make sense to me and it's very like form and function, which is very cool. And like I love my art classes. I just like using my hands, like, and I work as a chef and became a food stylist and like using my hands is something that I'm great at and I love it and I'm looking to learn. And I found a professor that wanted to sponsor me making a major, which turned out to be industrial design. So within that, there were a lot of grad student classes and I was able to learn a lot and I made sort of things that I wasn't good at. That was okay. It didn't have to work for me, but I made the system work for me. Like I knew that I needed to graduate. I had put in so much time and I worked so hard. I am not naturally good at school. Going to Berkeley, there was never a curve in any of my classes. These kids were the #1 students in all of their high school classes, like not just in California, but globally. Like I was there with the smartest people and like, I'm not the smartest, but I knew how to make things work for me. So I figured it out and I graduated and I was thriving in these classes and where I was using my hands and writing things down and like using, I don't really remember everything I did in engineering class, but like I loved it. And I loved my art classes and I loved learning and putting the two together and like being around these graduate students who are like some of the top minds in the country and like they let me in and they were like, come and learn. You're very talented. You're driven. And like, had I not gone to the office to be like, I really need help. I'm not going to be able to get through this. My mind just like doesn't work with computers, which is also totally fine. I mean, it might not sound like it is given that our society is all
I mean, you have a pop and social
text-based.
media account, so I don't know how that's possible.
Because it's all things that I've made with my hands that I've taken a photo of. And like I've ended up working a lot in like the agriculture space and in the food space and like all of that is stuff with your hands.
Right.
And like I think it might be a lost art, but that's, you know, part of when I started working on like advocacy for myself. And I always tell people you have to be your own advocate. No one is going to be a greater advocate for yourself than you.
Right. And although you didn't become an architect, had you not take the intro to the architecture class, it wouldn't have led you to the path that you ended up being on after. So really is all to say, when someone says you can't, most likely you can.
You probably can. And if you want to do something, try it out. Like It might not be a good fit, but at least you tried. And like if you're very interested or passionate, work hard. Like I was never the smartest, but I was really invested and I'm so deeply creative that I knew I could make something in the space work. And like working as a food stylist, I just explain it to people as like teeny tiny architecture. I wasn't building big buildings. Mm-hmm. Also, my projects are done at the end of the day. Like I don't have to wait 6 years for a building to be built. I can either eat my project or like throw it out and like move along. but I made it work for me, and I like found a career path that worked. It just, there's not one way to do everything.
Right. Is there ever a time where you doubt yourself?
All the time. I mean, I think it's so human.
Me too.
I feel like as long as I live my life with a lot of integrity, and I'm very transparent about that, like I truly deeply care about the things I work on, whether that be cooking a meal for someone or my book that I came out with, like the intentions behind things that I do is very transparent and like has good intentions. And within that, like, I think only good can come of it. But do I doubt myself? Yeah, but also I like to try. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You fail, someone says no.
Yeah, you
I'm
do
up
act
for that.
You do act with a lot of integrity and a lot of willingness to experiment.
Yeah.
I think that's part of your creative side too, which is inspiring to be around because you just say, well, I might go on television and make some food and I might not like it or I might say the wrong thing, but who cares? I did it.
I do it and I like show up and I always give my all at things. Like I think integrity works in so many different ways, and it's really your intention behind whatever it is you do. You go in and you give things your all and you have good intention for the outcome of it. Like I do live TV all the time and I go on to cook and I don't know what mood the anchors will be in or what thing has happened on the news that day. But my goal, even for writing my book, is if I could get one person to eat a little bit healthier, then I've fulfilled my goal. Like everything is so small. Like am I going to change the whole world? I don't know, but in Judaism, if you change one person's life, that's an entire world. So when I go on the news, it's usually a healthy eating segment. And I'm like, if I got one person to eat a little bit better, that changes the trajectory of their entire life. And like, that's something that's very fulfilling. It's sort of just like small goals within it.
You are a very spiritual person. Do you take your spirituality with you in everything you do?
I do. In Judaism, there is a concept called tikkun olam, which translates to repairing the world. And I found that it's the one religion where that is sort of like a commandment that we're all required to do things that help make the world a little bit better. And that's fully something I live by in everything I do. Obviously, this year has been, I guess, a little bit more than a year, has been really challenging. And I host events at this incredible kitchen called Our Big Kitchen LA. And they make, in a session with 60 people, they make 500 meals for people that don't have food. And it's not just for Jewish people, it's for the hungry. And I'm like, if I can lift the vibration of the universe with all of the hate happening, and it's sort of been a bit of a dark time for not just Jewish people, but just all of the hate happening in the world. If I can help to raise that vibration for everyone, like that's something fulfilling to me. That like sometimes giving can be selfish because it makes you feel better, but the end result of it is repairing the world a little bit and to just do good and also put your cell phone down and use your hands and like get dirty.
Yeah.
And like do good for other people. We're all in this together. Being all about yourself never helped anyone. And it's really, I find it fulfilling to do in just like anywhere I can.
Why is giving selfish?
It's sometimes they say that because it makes you feel really good. Like you helped someone who was struggling and you're like, oh, I felt really good. I did a good deed. And like that makes me feel good. And sometimes people can see that as selfish when it's really about the person you gave back to. But I think it's a very circular
Well, who cares
concept.
Whatever anyone sees, you're the one giving or not giving.
Yeah, and I find honestly, like, it's not giving anonymously, but just like doing good in your daily life is better for everyone. And I really try to live by that, to just like do something good for others every day. And that intention behind sort of repairing the world and doing good is something I just like can't live without. It's really, I think it helps
honorable.
everyone.
It's honorable. It's to live earnestly.
Truly.
You are earnest. You are
I'm
earnest.
really trying to help like the whole world. Just if we can, see each other with a little bit more compassion and humanity in whatever space that is, I think we could all feel a little bit better.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're so caught up with being earnest and integrous in acting with integrity that you forget yourself because you're trying to uplift others?
No, I try to put my, what was that called? Like mask on before.
You do?
I do. I find that I can't help others unless I'm working on myself as well. And that's, I was an athlete growing up, and like, I don't know, this is separate, but like I exercise every day, and mental health is really important.
It's not separate. Nothing is separate.
I mean, it's all
connected.
integrated, but I really believe in healthy body, healthy mind, and like exercising every day, eating well. Like it's not something that I had to learn in my old age, in my 30s. Like it's something I grew up doing, and my parents weren't athletes, and I started swimming very young, and it taught me everything about life. Like I was in the pool starting in high school twice a day, and then like an extra long practice on Saturdays. And so I had X amount of time to do my homework, sleep, see my friends who I really needed to see like once a week, but it gave me a lot of purpose and taught me not just like time management, but what's important. Like I needed to sleep for this many hours in order to compete well. And I'm someone who loved practice more than the act of competing. Unclear why. I just like,
You like the journey. You like the
I love
creative
the journey. I love the craftsmanship. I loved perfecting different things. I had really incredible coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I just like loved also as someone that had some issues academically. This wasn't academic. This was my body. This was my mind. Like how long could I go without breathing, doing like a 50 sprint? Like that's all mental and not academic. It was just like, I don't know if they do this anymore, but we would have to, you would like blow all of your air out and sink to the bottom. And they'd be like, when you think that you're gonna die, just count to 10 and then you could come up. And I don't think that's allowed anymore probably, but a lot of breath control things. But doing these things that were sort of like mind
What high
above.
school did you?
I mean, this was my club swim team, and those coaches.
Good for them. They were pushing you. I hope they were making sure you weren't going to drown.
These coaches ended up being the Olympic coaches, I guess, after I was in high school.
They knew how to push.
They knew how to push, and so much of it was like mind over matter. It was crazy. I was not great at the breath control. Some of these kids could really...
Mind over matter. Tell me more about mind over matter.
Really do it. Sometimes your mind psychs you out of things prior to your actual capability. And like being in the pool taught me so much of that. Like, can I not breathe for that extra stroke while swimming a 50 or 100? Or like, I haven't competed in almost 20 years, but like, can you do it? You can.
You can.
Nothing bad is going to happen, but you really have to get it in there. Like, that you can do this.
Yeah.
And that's a real challenge.
Yeah. It's sometimes just believing that you can do it so you can do it.
Yeah. It's half the part.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, but, yeah, athletics taught me a lot about just like being a human and taking accountability for yourself and your body and your job on the team. Everyone's very important in the scheme of things and in the world.
Ecosystem.
Yeah, everyone's connected.
Everyone's connected.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're advocating for a husband currently.
We're advocating.
Have you made a list?
I've made a list. I've made a list with you
at
your old house.
Have you made another list? Because I think you've met said person from that list.
No, we haven't met him yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is this embarrassing to talk
No,
about my
this is
personal life?
absolutely
I think
important.
It's great. Spoke to a matchmaker this morning.
Great.
I advocate. Like,
you need to be proactive. If you want a soulmate, you got to go out and advocate for your soulmate.
I go to events all the time. I stay home when my body needs to.
Good.
Like, I think one of the lessons I learned from the pandemic is that I am not an extrovert. I used to be out every day doing something social, and I'm very much someone that needs a day to fuel my tank. And that just means like sitting home alone, doing whatever it is, or sleeping and just like refueling, because I'm not 20 anymore and it's exhausting to be a human. But I need to do that in order to be social or be present at work or in social situations and just everywhere. Like, learning that that's how I work the best at this point in my life. Just knowing that schedule. So
beyond advocating for a soulmate,
we're looking for my soulmate.
What are you advocating for in work or in your home life currently?
I mean, we're looking for another human to enter the home life, so that's cute. We'll find him. He's out there. A lot of it's just like Jewish advocacy. It's really...
You're focused on that.
It takes a lot of time and doing things for community, and within that's also Israel advocacy. It's a big part of how I was raised, and being the great-granddaughter of immigrants and having many family members who perished in the Holocaust, like, it's really important for me to be a proud Jew and to be vocal about that, whether that be on social media or hosting an event or just having conversations with people. And I don't think there's any right or wrong in the world, but I guess I do actually, but it's being proud and Jewish and upholding those values are really what I've been focusing on and advocating for. And I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm very proud to be Jewish, and I think that those values come across and I live them. I don't just say them or acknowledge that other people can do this for me. I'm very proud to be Jewish and advocate for everything that comes with that.
Kenny Scharf is your cousin or uncle?
Yes, he's my cousin.
He's your cousin, and he's one of the most famous living artists today.
He is. There's just an article in The Guardian about him today that he's living for his friends who were all part of the pop art era that aren't alive anymore. So he has so many pieces of art with Keith Haring, and Basquiat was his roommate in New York, and he was at Studio 54, and there's all these beautiful images of him. And his grandparents are my great-grandparents, and it's fun. I have a lot of really famous relatives, and everyone is so deeply creative. It's incredible. He's just one of them, and it's
he's a pretty amazing guy. He's a pretty amazing artist. Have you seen that advocacy has been a thread throughout your family? Because Kenny has definitely advocated for a lot of different topics, including being a Jew since the 60s and 70s in the art world.
I think everyone is so truly just themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
they stand in their truth.
They do.
And they're unapologetic about it.
My great-grandparents came to this country with nothing. They escaped from Poland, like Austria, Poland, with nothing. And my grandfather was born in the US. Like, a few days later, they were 18 years old. They had gotten married, and they built everything from nothing. They had a truck driving business, and they drove from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, and they started a knitwear company, which became one of the biggest knitwear companies in the country. They sold it when I was in, I want to say, like, elementary school, but it was it. They taught me how to be an entrepreneur, and like, you can be creative and have a business
and make money,
which is the whole point of, like, everyone's got to make money. You have to make a living, and you can do something that's very creative and cool. And everyone needs a sweater, and it went from selling.
Especially in chilly winter
in
LA.
chilly winter in LA, but they had everything from high-end cashmere that sold at Neiman's and Saks and Barney's to
Wow.
the like lower end, if you remember J.C. Penney
Of
and
course.
Bullock's, and all the mom and pops all over the country. If you ask my mom if she's ever been to some like random city in Texas, and she's like, oh, I used to sell to whatever store it was there, and she could tell you their names.
So your mom was involved in the family business too?
Yes, there was like 3 generations
Wow.
of family business. But we're all people that my mom and my grandfather and his grandparents, we never forget a face. I never forget a name. If I see someone that I met at an event, I can tell you everything they told me. Like, I never forget anything, and those personal audio visual, all these personal relationships, like that's who I am. That's why I can be a great advocate for others, because you're telling stories, and
you're telling your story while you're advocating for yourself, and you better be convincing.
It's true,
because you need to make a case.
All of it. But like those personal relationships, there's nothing that can replace that. And like remembering someone's name or face, or oh, how's your grandmother doing? These like strange things that like are how my mind works.
Mm-hmm. You always ask about my kids.
I care about them. They're so gorgeous. Like they're really cute. But like I deeply care. I wouldn't ask if I didn't care. And some people do it to be kind, and others like, I care. Otherwise I wouldn't ask. And like that, I feel like feeds into so much of just like activism, and being your own advocate is like personal relationships are everything.
They are. They're the building blocks of who you are.
All of it. And like if you really care, it comes across. Like there's nothing I do that I feel like I have to do or that is not genuine. Like if I'm asking, it's because I want to know and I'm invested. And like that's something that's so clear in, I guess, like all of the work I do across the board. So real people person. I love it.
Well, thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
You're a breath of fresh air.
Oh, great. I love that it smells like lilies, at least.
Sure does.
Thank you for having me. I hope this inspires someone to be like...
It inspired me to act with more integrity.
We have to. And it really shows in everything you do. If your intention is there, it comes across very clearly.
Yeah.